Hello everyone and welcome back to English Unleashed. Today, I want to introduce you to a truly important concept for your English learning journey, the chunking method. Chunking is a straightforward yet incredibly effective approach to mastering the English language. If your aspiration is to communicate in English with fluency and naturalness, and to develop the ability to think directly in English, then chunking can be an invaluable tool for you. In this discussion, we will explore what the chunking method entails and how you can integrate it into your daily English practice to enhance your fluency and naturalness in speaking. As always, I will proceed at a deliberate pace, speaking clearly to guide you through your English learning process step by step. So, prepare yourself, and let us commence. To begin, what exactly is chunking? Simply put, when you speak English, you are not required to construct every sentence word by word. This method is slow, it is challenging, and it demands a considerable amount of your energy. When you approach language in this manner, you may find yourself stalled, feeling apprehensive, or even forgetting words. However, a more effective strategy exists. You can utilize chunks. Correct, you can use chunks. So, what are these chunks? Chunks are essentially groups of words. They are small, prefabricated phrases that are commonly used together. We do not alter them, nor do we build them from scratch. We simply employ them as they are. Visualize chunks as building blocks, much like Lego bricks. Each chunk represents a single block. When you are speaking, your task is to connect these blocks together. You assemble these blocks to form your expressions. Allow me to provide some illustrations. Many of these you likely already recognize. Expressions such as "how's it going?" "I don't think so," "let me think," "long time no see," "have a nice day," "no worries," and "it depends." These are all examples of chunks. We do not pause to meticulously consider grammar rules. We do not pronounce "how is it goin'" with distinct pauses. Instead, we articulate "how's it goin'" as a single, flowing unit. This is precisely why chunks are so powerful. When you learn a chunk, you are acquiring an entire idea, not merely isolated words. You instinctively understand when to deploy it, you grasp its contextual sense, and it empowers you to sound both natural and confident. Let's engage in some practice. You can repeat after me at a measured pace. How's it going? Now, your turn. How's it going? Excellent. Next, I don't think so. Very good. Let me think. Wonderful. Do you perceive the difference? Yes. We are not learning random words. We are acquiring meaningful segments of language, small, practical units of authentic English. This is the essence of the chunking method, and I assure you, with a repertoire of a modest number of chunks, you can already participate in meaningful conversations without the burden of translation or overthinking. Now that you have a grasp of what chunking is, let's delve into why it is so beneficial, particularly if your objective is to achieve greater fluency in spoken English. When you endeavor to speak English word by word, your brain is subjected to intense computational demands. You must concentrate on each individual word, recall your vocabulary, determine the appropriate grammatical structures, and select the correct sentence construction. This process consumes a significant amount of time, and at times, it leads to being stuck or pausing unexpectedly. You might stop, hesitate, interject filler sounds, feel anxious, and consequently lose your confidence. Now, envision this alternative scenario. Imagine the capacity to utilize an entire phrase, a complete sentence, without conscious deliberation. You simply articulate it naturally, swiftly, and accurately. This is the advantage that chunking bestows upon you. When you internalize chunks, your thought process shifts to phrases, to complete ideas. This is precisely how native speakers communicate. They do not construct every sentence from its fundamental components. They do not pause to deliberate, thinking, "I need a subject, then a verb, and then an object." No, they speak using ready-made expressions, employing chunks, blocks of language, and patterns that are already integrated into their cognitive framework. By speaking in this manner, you naturally sound more authentic, you speak with greater speed, and you exude more confidence because your brain is not working as strenuously. This implies that your brain is dedicating less effort to laborious thinking, and more to effective communication. Allow me to reiterate, when you employ chunks, your brain engages in less analytical thinking and more direct communication. That is the ultimate objective, to speak from a place of feeling, rather than from apprehension, to communicate in established patterns, rather than in fragmented pieces. Another significant advantage of chunking lies in your auditory perception of English. As you listen to English being spoken around you, you will begin to notice recurring phrases. Expressions such as "I'm not sure," "let me check," and "it's up to you" will become familiar. You will start to recognize these chunks. You will begin to internalize them. They will naturally become a part of your own English expression. You will not need to specifically memorize them, you will simply encounter them so frequently that they become second nature to you as well. And the more you utilize them, the more fluent you will become. This is why chunking is not merely a method, it is a fundamental shift in perspective. It is a way of thinking in English. It facilitates your transition from translating to speaking with unimpeded ease. You do not require an exhaustive knowledge of 1,000 grammar rules. You simply need to know what to say and express it through chunks. Very well. Now, let us explore this further. Allow me to present you with more practical, real-life examples of chunks. It is crucial to understand that chunks are not rigid rules. They are not merely random collections of words. Instead, they represent authentic segments of the English language that are consistently used by people in their everyday communication. Allow me to present some practical and beneficial chunks. Let's examine them systematically, one by one. Our first chunk is "I'm on my way." This phrase conveys the meaning that you are currently en route to a destination. You are in the process of traveling to the location where the person you are addressing is situated. Instead of laboriously constructing a sentence like, "Now I am proceeding to the place where you are," which is excessively slow and complicated, you simply use the chunk "I'm on my way." By memorizing this phrase and applying it in the appropriate context, you achieve a fast and natural expression. The next useful chunk is "let's keep in touch." We employ this expression when we desire to maintain a connection with someone. It is often used when meeting someone new, concluding a course, or finishing a job, and you wish to communicate again in the future. You would say, "Let's keep in touch." This serves as an excellent closing phrase for a conversation. You are freed from the necessity of dissecting grammar or pondering each individual word. You simply deliver the entire phrase. It is as straightforward as that. Consider the chunk "that's not the point." This signifies that the current discussion or action is not addressing the essential or significant aspect of the matter. It is particularly useful if someone is engaged in an argument, or if they appear to be misunderstanding your intended message. Another valuable chunk is "that makes sense." This phrase indicates that something is logical or readily comprehensible. We use it when a concept or explanation is clear, easy to grasp, and straightforward to follow. It is a frequently encountered expression in everyday interactions. As you have likely observed, each of these phrases is a complete unit of meaning. Each one effectively conveys a clear message. You are liberated from the constraint of thinking about grammar rules or constructing them word by word. You simply articulate them naturally. This is the inherent advantage of chunks. They conserve your time, they lend an authentic quality to your English, and they help you speak in the manner that people actually converse. You might be wondering, "That sounds beneficial, Tom, but how do I effectively learn these chunks?" This is a pertinent and excellent question. Let me guide you through this process systematically. Acquiring chunks is not an arduous task, but it does necessitate a shift in your thinking, a new mindset. Instead of focusing on individual words in isolation, you concentrate on entire expressions. Here is how you can achieve this. The initial step is to listen attentively. Pay very close attention to how people speak English in movies, podcasts, and other media. Observe their speaking patterns and the phrases they repeat. You will begin to detect certain expressions that resurface consistently, and this is no mere coincidence. You do not need to invent these, you simply need to identify them. The second step is to write them down. Do not rely solely on your memory. Take out your phone or a notebook and record the chunk. It is beneficial to document not only the words themselves, but also the context in which you heard it, how it was used, and perhaps the emotion conveyed, whether it was expressed happily, with surprise, or in anger. This practice aids in remembering when to use the chunk, not just its literal meaning. The third step is to say it out loud. This is a crucial element. Do not merely read chunks silently. Articulate them audibly. Even if no one else is present, even if you are alone, and even if it feels slightly unusual. When you speak chunks aloud, your vocal apparatus begins to internalize them. Your tongue becomes accustomed to the rhythm and intonation. Your brain starts to forge connections between the sound, the meaning, and the feeling associated with the chunk. Consequently, the chunk will emerge spontaneously, without conscious effort or the need for translation. The fourth step is to review your chunks frequently. Think of chunks as nascent plants that require regular watering and exposure. Therefore, Every few days, revisit your notebook, examine your collected chunks, repeat them, recall the context and feeling associated with them, and try to integrate them into new sentences, or simply read them aloud. Even dedicating a few minutes each day to this can yield significant benefits. Aim to learn just 2 or 3 new phrases daily. Anything more is unnecessary. You might discover these while watching a television program, perhaps even within this episode, or from overheard conversations. Simply listen with keen attention. When you encounter something that sounds natural, concise, and useful, make a note of it. For instance, phrases like "let me know," "I'm on it," or "I'm not in the mood" are excellent examples. Keep your learning manageable and practical. To summarize, my friends, today you have gained insight into chunking, its operational principles, and its advantages. Remember, your English proficiency will improve considerably when you adopt the practice of speaking in chunks, moving from word-by-word construction to phrase-by-phrase expression. Incorporating even a few new chunks each day can make a substantial difference. Therefore, continue your efforts, maintain your listening practice, engage in speaking, and, as always, continue to have faith in your own abilities.